Marvel just bombed a lot this year. Ant-Man bombed, Flash bombed, Aquaman 2 bombed. Just
movie fatigue, not just the superhero
Enough.
thing. I mean, accelerated by the whole superhero movement, where James Gunn is still wanting to develop a whole bunch of DC characters.
just give it a break. I think Marvel and DC need to take 5 years off and just don't produce anything for a while. Let us miss you. We can't miss you if you're always fucking there.
There's this really interesting commentary I saw online, Mr. Sunday Movies, where they said we're kind of in a phase now where it's sort of comparable to this, right? You had, in the comic run, they had the death of Superman, and that was the big draw for people. And then after such a big monumental event, they then try to recreate that with something like, say, maybe Bane breaks Batman's back or something. The thing is that stories since then have only gotten better. There is that, but the sales numbers have just never been the same since. And we're kind of in that phase with the movies. After you end off so conclusively with Endgame, which had a decade plus of build-up, the only times the post-Endgame movie seems to be doing well is if it's something similar in terms of Avengers scale of threats, world-ending events. See, the thing is that despite the huge cast of characters that they introduced in phases 1, 2, and 3, there was still a central 3 characters. There was Iron Man, there was Captain America, and there was Thor. That's the three swordsmen, if you will, the old guard. There was that cohesion to it where everyone else was a supporting character, and you could extend that definition to beyond to include Black Widow and Hawkeye, and the Hulk, the original 6 Avengers members. But after that, no one can clearly articulate who the central figurehead is for phase 4 and onwards. And
you could point to Iron Man being the number one. It was all his arc.
Exactly.
But now that he's gone, it's almost like Marvel doesn't know who the next central person is meant to be.
Or whoever the central antagonist is going to be now, because of in real life court trials and prosecutions. And also, and even if Jonathan Majors wasn't guilty, there still has been a big writing issue where they try to treating TV series the same as movies.
It makes the audience feel like you're doing homework for the movie.
Exactly. In order to understand that movie, you needed to have watched this, and this series just to understand something that runs for less than 2 hours. That's a hard sell.
Bro, I can't even watch... I struggled to cover one show. I can only imagine, families with children and stuff like that. They don't have time to watch all these freaking shows and then go to the cinemas and be like, oh, I know everything now.
And too many cooks in the kitchen as well. When you have too many TV shows and movies, they are all going to have different showrunners and directors. And Marvel is infamous for its secrecy, even amongst its own people. And so when Sam Raimi is doing one thing with this character, he doesn't know what sort of transpired in WandaVision. He was only given a Cliff Notes version. And so then you're going to start having, and we're seeing this take effect now where beyond the overworked stuff, you're seeing just a lack of cohesion in terms of we were going to take this character in that direction, but then this one director sort of took a different direction, and now we kind of have to retroactively work with however they ended off that character's arc.
No one has their different visions intact. We got hooked on Multiverse of Madness because Sam Raimi is directing it, so you can expect a Sam Raimi movie. And then we watched it and we're like, this doesn't feel like a Sam Raimi movie. This just feels like a generic Marvel movie. How'd this happen? And then you go watch Thor, and you're like, oh my God, this is a complete Taika Waititi disaster. There's movies that do have the director's vision, and then there's other films that the director's vision has clearly been silenced completely.
Just follow these dot points that we've laid out.
They just want these gun-for-hire directors now.
Yeah.
And no one has a creative kind of voice. They just can't all get on the same page. And it's too many, like you said, too many cooks in the kitchen.